creating a news agenda that reflects an unbiased view of Asian current affairs without relying on external news sources. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Hello and welcome to AVN, your weekly roundup of the news from around the globe. I'm Abdullah Ahil, your host for the evening. Tourists from across the globe are swarms into East Africa to witness the great wildlife migration as millions of wild wildebeest and zebras have commenced their journey from Tanzania to Kenya in search of food and water since July. Prices of many travel items such as air tickets and hotels have reached their peak of the year. The Serengeti National Park, a World Heritage Site located in northern Tanzania, is renowned for the massive annual migration of wildebeest and zebras. Many hotels nearby have been reserved months or even half a year before, and air tickets to Tanzania are also hard to get. A Chinese tourist said that they are in Tanzania mainly because they love nature very much and that they want to see the migration of wild animals. He said that they attach great importance to the current experience. The migration is an annual movement of millions of wildebeests, zebras, and other herbivores from Serengeti in Tanzania to Masai Mara in Kenya, primarily between July and October. The torch relay for the 12th edition of the World Games, or TWG, begin in Chengdu, the provincial capital of southwest China's Sichuan province, marking the first ever torch relay event in the Games' history. The torch relay will traverse Chengdu and two of its neighboring cities, Dayang and Meisheng, covering a total of 11 kilometers involving 120 torchbearers. This year's World Games will officially take place from August 7 to 17. A flame lighting ceremony was held at the Sanxingdui Museum in Dayang on July 26th morning, inaugurating the relay, and the first stop of the torch relay also took place at the museum. Afterwards, the torch will travel to 5 locations: Chengdu Jingsha Site Museum, Chengdu Research Base of Giant Panda Breeding, Chengdu Wuho Shrine Museum, Meisheng Sansu Shrine Museum, and Chengdu Singlong Lake Wetland Park. The World Games are held by the International World Games Association every 4 years, usually 1 year after each Olympic Games. Unlike the Olympics, which emphasize competitiveness, the World Games primarily feature non-Olympic sports, focusing on the diversity of sports competitions while highlighting the fun, participation, and entertainment values of the events. It will feature 34 sports and 60 disciplines in Chengdu this year. 30th season archaeological excavations commence at Iloisa Sebast Ancient City with year-round operations under Heritage for Future project. The 30th season of archaeological excavations has begun at Iloisa Sebast Ancient City in Ayas neighborhood of Erdemli district, Mersin. The ancient city, which bears traces of Roman and Byzantine periods, will now conduct excavations year-round under the Ministry of Culture and Tourism's Heritage for Future project. Led by Associate Professor Dr. Hatis Asinakizi Larsanoglu from Kastamonu University's Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences Archaeology Department, the excavations involve Turkish, Italian, and American teams. The ancient city served as a powerful port city for production, trade, and economy from the 2nd century BC to the early 7th century AD, featuring theaters, temples, baths, agora, basilica, and necropolis areas. Current work focuses on production areas, sales structures, and restoration of seasonal mosaics in the small bath structure. The international collaboration aims to enhance recognition of Turkey, Mersin, and Iloisa Sebast, the ancient city, while supporting the site's designation as a protected archaeological area. On International Tiger Day, India highlights the remarkable recovery of its tiger population while acknowledging persistent threats such as poaching and habitat loss that continue to endanger these majestic predators. Once numbering over 100,000 across Asia in the early 1900s, tiger populations have plummeted by more than 95% due to poaching, habitat destruction, and illegal trade. At independence, India had nearly 40,000 tigers, but by 2006, only 1,411 remained in the wild. Following the hunting ban in 1972 and the launch of Project Tiger in 1973, conservation efforts initially faced challenges due to poaching and poor monitoring. However, a revived ecosystem-based approach introduced in 2006 led to significant gains. By 2022, India's tiger population rebounded to 3,682 across 58 reserves covering over 82,000 square kilometers. Beyond national pride, tigers serve as ecological guardians, maintaining forest balance and protecting biodiversity. Despite the success, threats from habitat loss, poaching, human-wildlife conflict, and forest degradation persists, underscoring the urgent need for continued vigilance and conservation efforts. Scientists have released a list of recommendations to combat South Australia's devastating algal bloom. Reporter Sophia Lando has the details.
The Biodiversity Council report has 7 recommendations. Some of those are short-term measures like protecting endangered species. Others are more targeted at long-term measures like monitoring the Great Southern Reef and prevention of events like these from happening by accelerating decarbonisation efforts. In the report, scientists say that the damage of the harmful algal bloom is equivalent to the Black Summer bushfires in 2019-2020, and the Biodiversity Council warns that although the harmful algal bloom is in South Australia, mass fish kills will be felt far beyond state waters. Let's take a listen to Council member Professor Greta Pexel.
Many of those species there have really important connections to the west coast and the east coast, so the damage that's been incurred from this harmful algal bloom in South Australia will massively exceed the boundaries of the bloom itself.
Experts warn that without major action, events like this will become more likely. And while the scientists in the report welcome the $28 million of government funding, they say more will be needed to address the full extent of the damage.
China's Shenzhou 19 crew reveals they successfully handled a lock failure during what became a record-breaking 9-hour spacewalk last December, the longest single extravehicular activity or EVA in history. The mission's post-landing disclosures highlight China's growing capabilities in orbital troubleshooting. Astronaut Kai Su-xie, now China's most experienced spacewalker with 5 EVAs, described how the crew responded to a payload adapter partially jammed during previous equipment installation. The critical repair occurred during the mission's first spacewalk on December 17, 2024. After completing primary tasks including space debris shield installations, Kai, assisted by crewmate Song Ling Dong, used the station's robotic arm to reach the malfunction site. The operation faced intense time pressure as it needed to be completed during limited sunlight periods with only about 40 minutes remaining in the final suitable window. Both astronauts had already spent over 7 hours working in China's next-generation Feiqian spacesuits at this point. When asked about operating at the suit's endurance limits, Kai expressed confidence in the systems, detailing how they continuously monitored oxygen levels throughout the extended EVA. The successful troubleshooting demonstrated the spacesuit's reliability and China's autonomous problem-solving capabilities in space. Mission controllers emphasized that the 9-hour EVA not only set a new Chinese record but surpassed all previous international single spacewalk durations. China's humanoid robots are quickly becoming adept at household tasks as engineers equip them with the dexterity and intelligence to handle general housekeeping and applications in senior care. China's humanoid robots are quickly becoming adept at household tasks as engineers equip them with the dexterity and intelligence to handle general housekeeping and application in senior care. Among the contenders in this emergent sector is Hubei Optics Valley Dongji Embodied Intelligence Technology. Their robot, Lumen, has already mastered skills including serving beverages, folding clothes, and making a bed. After debuting earlier this month at the 3rd China International Supply Chain Expo, the model has attracted potential customers with its remarkable agility and posture control. According to Chin, researchers are training and updating Lumen at the Hubei Humanoid Robot Innovation Center to make it more adaptive to homes, supermarkets, factories, and other scenarios. Robotics companies are eager to move to market, but analysts say that research on robot safety, certification, and ethics of science and technology are needed before robot housekeepers enters homes and communities. Despite the hurdles ahead, China's push to develop artificial intelligence and robotics for use in elderly care is already producing impressive results. In North China's Hebei province, researchers at the Hebei University of Technology have developed a humanoid robot that can extend its arm to securely lift an individual from a bed and transfer them to a wheelchair. Scientists are warning more of Western Australia's rare Tingle forest is at risk of destruction unless the government changes fire management practices. Internal documents obtained by the ABC have revealed more than 100 trees in the Valley of the Giants were destroyed in a managed fire lit to protect lives and property.
This forest on Western Australia's south coast is home to some of the most unique animal and plant life on the planet. As part of the state's bushfire mitigation program, it's being set alight.
We have seen a lot of demise of flora and fauna, and we're very concerned about that.
In December, a burn by the Department of Biodiversity Conservation and Attractions felled hundreds of trees in the Walpole tourism hotspot, the Valley of the Giants.
So this is the map of the Tingle distribution. That is all the Tingle on the whole planet.
At the time, the department said it was aware of one large tree felled in the fire. Internal DBCA documents obtained by the ABC 5 months later put that number at 114 trees. Documents also show the fire burned 99% of the prescribed area with greater severity than mitigation burns in the same block 3 decades ago.
Over the last 6 years, I think the majority have been too hot.
DBCA, which initially declined to release the documents, said the burn was a success despite the damage it caused. 19 neighbouring parcels of nearby forest have been earmarked for burns over the next 3 years, including 4 with stands of rare red tingle trees. But a group of WA's top environmental scientists want urgent change to the burn program to avoid another mass felling.
What we're recommending is that they don't burn wholesale blocks in the stuff that's well removed from life and property assets.
WA's new Environment Minister Matthew Swinburne declined multiple requests for an interview. A statement from the Minister's office highlighted a legislated responsibility to protect the environment and the community from the effects of bushfires. It said the department's burn program was based on 60 years of scientific evidence and best practice, with additional research underway. Scientists have described that claim as a diversionary tactic.
The Minister's solution has been to park it for 10 years, and he's given the department a bit of money for new research to be done. We think the scientific evidence is already compelling.
Ecologists studying the rare trees claim historical data is being ignored.
We're looking at a concern that was raised in the 90s, and it's still a concern today. And if we don't address that, then it's only going to get worse.
A drying climate adding to the urgency.
In the next 5 decades, we're looking at the entirety of red tingle forest becoming drier than the driest portion of red tingle is now. But I think that needs to be an open acknowledgement that this is a fire-sensitive ecosystem, and then we can move forward with that, with discussions from ecology, from fire practitioners, from fire science within the department as well.
A push for compromise ahead of the coming fire season. Andrew Chowding, ABC News.
One of the largest mosaics in the region, known as the Garden of Paradise, has been reopened to visitors following 2 months of restoration and conservation work at the ancient city of Pere, located in southeastern Turkey's Adıyaman province. The restoration project not only preserved the mosaic but also uncovered new archaeological findings. Excavations around the site revealed that the mosaic, previously believed to be 155 square meters in size, is nearly in fact 300 square meters. Excavations around the site revealed that the mosaic, previously believed to be 155 square meters in size, is in fact nearly 300 square meters. Experts discovered that the eastern section, including the apse area, had been damaged when several large stone blocks were removed. Dating back to the 5th century AD, the 1,500-year-old mosaic depicts vines, clusters of grapes, grazing deer, roosters, hens, and demoiselle cranes in its central panel. The surrounding borders features intricate geometric patterns, including octagons, heart shapes, and three-dimensional spheres, all typical of the Roman period. Pere was one of the 5 major cities of the ancient kingdom of Commagene. Nepal's Terai region is facing an acute water shortage followed by a prolonged drought. Drought has severely affected both agriculture and daily life. Nepal's Terai region is facing an acute water shortage followed by a prolonged drought. Drought has severely affected both agriculture and daily life. The Tarai Belt is the most fertile of Nepal and produces about 70% of the country's total paddy. Districts like Mahottari, Bara, Parsa, Saptari, Danusha, among others, are grappling with cracked, barren or withered fields due to intense heat and no rainfall. The region is experiencing a dire drinking water shortage. Locals in several areas are seeing their tube wells run dry and are now relying on deep wells to meet basic needs. This shortage has forced the government into action, launching an urgent initiative to install 500 deep bore wells across the region. Lack of rainfall has also dried up critical irrigation sources, including the historic Chandra Canal in northern Saptari, raising the risk of a devastating impact on crop yields this year. With only half of the usual 600,000 hectares of paddy fields planted this year, experts warn that the region is heading for major crop losses if the dry conditions continue. The local authorities have been deploying water tanker trucks to provide immediate relief to the most affected areas. Nepal has recorded almost 79% of paddy seedlings transplantation so far. Last year, paddy seedlings transplantation was done in 92.6% during the same period. Drought devastates sunflower production in Thrace region, with major yield losses expected as producers demand government drought support. Severe drought conditions have severely impacted sunflower production in Turkey's Thrace region, particularly around Edirne. Fields that should be golden yellow are now dominated by brown, dried crops. The lack of rainfall since May has prevented proper sunflower development, causing significant agricultural losses. The drought has also affected the Tunka River, used for irrigation, prompting Edirne Governor's Office to implement water-sharing schedules among farmers. Edirne Province cultivates sunflowers on over 1 million acres of land, and Turkey imports half of its sunflower oil needs. Many producers are considering switching to alternative crops next year due to consecutive years of drought-related losses. And that's it for our coverage of the recent most notable feature stories from our Asia Vision network. Stay tuned for more such news on our AVN and other bulletins. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Creating a news agenda that reflects an unbiased view of Asian current affairs without relying on external news sources. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.